back at Monarto for another meet, and today is the first day of a 2-day Interclub meet. It's actually 2 separate meets, so I don't know whether they're going to total it up at the end or whatever. It's all new to me. We have actually entered as 2 separate meets, and this one is really interesting because what they're doing is they're changing the layout after every race, and we're also running in reverse. So most people have never done these layouts. So you've got, like, 2 laps forming up to try and work it out, and then bang, go. And what's even more interesting today is we've got on and off drizzle and rain, a bit like we did about a month or so ago. And yeah, I mean, I'm running with higher gearing. I know ideally I should be running with maybe a couple of teeth more, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to run with this at Bolivar tomorrow as well, and it's just a really good learning experience. So just to come out here, I have done a few little setup changes but nothing major, and just to get used to driving in the rain on slicks, and just to try and adapt to different track layouts and the weather as we go. It's really interesting. We've done 2 races. I haven't put the camera on yet. I think I'm going to try and put it on for the next 2 races. So we've got this new attachment for a second camera, so I can run one running forward and run one running backwards. So that might be really interesting to edit that footage together. I think we'll probably put them on for the next race. Just about to head out for the start of Heat 3 around C-Track in reverse. Ahead of me is number 73 and Nick Dunn on the pole. We didn't qualify for grid positions on this day, so we drew. That's why I'm so far up the front, because on sheer pace I'm not having a particularly great weekend, struggling with some of the performance, learning the new tracks, intermittent conditions, and there we have the new rear pointing camera that's not exactly pointing rearwards, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone upside down because somebody, wouldn't know who, didn't tighten it up properly. But never mind, because you can do a little movie magic and just swap it around, and there you go, still usable footage. Might come back to that camera later on. Coming up to the start, lights out, and you can't quite see him, but I guarantee you Nicholas Dunn has done a better start than me, and he's up the inside. I'm out on the dirty stuff. There he is, and also up the inside is number 50, Trevor King. Closely behind him is 74 going around the outside of me. That's Grant Cox. So I have covered myself with glory, ladies and gentlemen, in about 3 corners. Just fighting for a little bit of grip there with that low camera angle again. This would be something that happened in a number of the races on this particular day, just struggling in the first few laps, and then it would gradually come to me with a bit of pace near the end, but too late by then. As you can see, going a little bit wide, and through goes number 10, that's Wesley Bowden. Inside him, number 20, Jackson King. Jackson a little bit deep, and Wesley right back up the inside. That's a nice, neat move. Not much else happens in this heat. We're coming up to the finish now. The checkered flag. Nick Dunn for the win. Trevor King second. Wesley Bowden third. So straight on to the final around D-Track. That's the smallest of the tracks at Monarto. And again, we're in reverse. Still a bit of moisture on the track. This time I've got that rear pointing camera on really tightly. I assure you that it's not going to budge. See if we can get some interesting footage from it with those threatening looking clouds. Not sure if they're going to open at this stage. Just warming up the tyres. We get ready for a start. And I'm behind number 74, Grant Cox, who's going to disappear very shortly. I believe with some sort of wheel issue. We don't see him depart, but he doesn't finish this race, I believe. But 3 abreast up the front, getting very racy there. I'm unfortunately pushed wide onto the dirty stuff. So another really absolutely sensational start by myself. Not. Peter Mill just getting a little bit racy there, but he's about to open the door, I think. Yes, he has. Number 44, Corey Zervas, is right up the inside of him. Yours truly better watch himself, because I've still not got those tyres up to working temperature at the moment, and I'm struggling a little bit. But I'm just really treating this weekend as a bit of a practice session, trying to learn these layouts, learn the intermittent conditions. I do think that Monarto is going to come to me, but at the moment it is one of those tracks that we are really struggling at. The performance later in the race laps aren't too bad, but early on, yeah,
not. And there we go. There's number 44 going up the inside. A bit of a shame because I'm just about to get a little bit more performance in the car as it gets more stuck to the ground in the closing laps. And we're about to find that out because we're rooted to the ground now. Number 21 ahead of me, Callan Ross. And this is a pretty straightforward move. Sitting up the inside. A little bit wide there on a slippery track still. He's having a little bit of a look. But I think we've got this one covered up. At least that's something. But yeah, we've gone backwards in these two races. Have we learned something? I think we have. We certainly had a good debrief before we left, myself and Craig, but starts are not one of our strengths at this point. Already looking forward to Bolivar the next day, I assure you, at this point. There's the checkered flag. Jackson King for the win. Nick Dunn second. Wesley Bowden third. What really made it difficult today was the weather and how it changed. And yeah, we did get hung out to dry a little bit with some of those starts when you're on the outside. It's a bit dirty. But the pace wasn't terrible. Hoping for a little bit more tomorrow. See how we go. First race, we sort of jagged a bit of a result there because we were running a very competitive fifth, but there was a guy in front of us who was running Supermax, so he's not going to be counted. And also he was a heavy. And then you've got the front two. So front one got disqualified on a weight penalty, didn't have enough weight in for the category. The second one had a start penalty for crossing the tram lines. He got a 10-second penalty. So that meant the guy who was in front of me, I was on a really good battle with, scored his first ever win, and I scored a second by default. So that was quite fun, but we actually went faster in the second heat, albeit only for half of it, because then we buggered it up. But we're going to try and do a better job and share that with you guys in the next two heats. I'm just getting ready to go out now for heat 3 at Bolivar. Ahead of me is 74 Grant Cox. Now he's not officially the pole man, that should be Steve Skinner, but he's got kart problems, so we have to leave that position vacant. I'm in position 3, and this was a qualifying meet, so I'm there on some merit and through a combination of qualifying and points and whatnot. We're having a pretty good meet. Just coming around now for the start, and I'm going to try and get right up behind him. Much better starts today than the previous day at Monarto. And lights out, past Tyler, and having a red hot go for the lead here around the outside. Am I going to be able to get through? And not quite. Right, holds the lead. I go in behind him into second, and for a few laps we just thought, oh, let's keep it nice and tidy. If we can stay with him, we might have a really good result, and it seemed like that was on the cards initially. Kept it tidy, didn't drop off too far. The two behind me at this stage I seem to be able to hold off, but as you can see, they're getting a little bit racy with each other, and unfortunately I made a few mistakes, and that just gave them the opportunity to get on me. And it's not like they're working as a team, but they seem to come in twos, and here they come. Here comes number 52, Mark Sanford, right up behind me, and we are heading towards the sweeper, I believe. And this is where you can be a little bit unlucky sometimes. You get out on the dirty stuff, there's not much grip out there, and through also goes Lee Chesson. So I've really got to try and gather it up again at this stage, otherwise if you're not going forward, sometimes you're going backwards, and unfortunately I missed that apex, so that's another mistake. And Tyler can't be far behind. I get a little bit distracted by these twos, but I think it's Mark Sanford who goes just off the track, and number 24, that's Tyler, he's right up behind me, and he's looking for a run. Unfortunately he gives me a little tap, and that sends me off at Wakefield. Through also goes Nick Tarquetti, running the number 3 with a heavyweight kart this weekend. And I gather it up, and from this point forward my driving's pretty solid, but I'm able to stay with these two reasonably comfortably, just looking for a gap to get back through, but that doesn't happen. Kudos to them, coming through to the checkered flag. Grant Cox for the win, Lee Chesson second, Mark Sanford third. We came, essentially we came 6th, but 5th in our class. So off for the final. Grant Cox is the man to beat again. Just warming up our tyres. And behind me is Lee Chesson. A little cheeky wave. Just coming around the sweeper now, I believe, for the start. And I think maybe we'll look backwards at this start. Normally I look forwards at the lights out. Here we go. We are racing. 52 Mark Sanford ahead of me, and he gets a bit sideways, so he's losing a bit of momentum. Steve Skinner goes through, and I also go through, going into the new section, and not a terrible start. So at this stage I'm just thinking, keep it tidy, keep it on the track, let's not do what we did in the last race. But number 52 Mark Sanford, he's got other ideas, and he's running very closely with Lee Chesson yet again. So he goes through into Tyson's, and look at that, straight through goes number 37 Lee Chesson as well. I gather it up, and from this point forward I actually drive reasonably okay. No massive mistakes. But ahead of me now, you can see those two guys, and a little bit further ahead you probably see, just in view, Steve Skinner. I'm not sure exactly when it happens that he drops back, but anyway, I'll explain afterwards, but he's got a little plan in his mind that could have really worked in my favour. Just trying to keep it nice and tidy. It's always a good thing when you see people close together in front. You keep it tidy, sometimes you can get on the back of it as they're trying to race each other. Coming through for the checkered flag, Grant Cox for the win. He won overall on the day, Lee Chesson, Mark Sanford. But I believe the overall results on point with Grant Cox, Mark Sanford and Tyler Kavanagh on points. Just coming in to finish there. There's Steve Skinner ahead of me. And a much better meet, it has to be said, than Monarto. Getting a lot happier at this point.
Well, we're done now. That's the Interclub weekend, and yeah, the last race wasn't bad. I wasn't sure what was going on at the time, but Steve Skinner was driving in Supermax, which is a slightly more powerful class. He appeared to sort of drop off the pace, but what he was actually doing was dropping off, so he was going to come and collect me, so to speak. I was going to be slipstreaming him, but I couldn't hang on to him, unfortunately, because it would have been really good to get back on the back of the couple in front of him, but couldn't quite make that happen. But it's been a good weekend. Pace overall has been, I think, okay. I'll have to check the splits of the last race, but we weren't far away, and overall I think we're heading in the right direction.